I'm sure everyone is hoping that the 2024 F1 season will be more competitive than the last season we had. As the season is about to begin, what's more fun than giving our very own predictions about how the season will unfold? Now, of course, we have no way of knowing how the drivers and cars will actually perform until the season begins. But there's no harm in giving our own predictions, right? However, before we do jump into the video, take a second out of your day to like and subscribe. Done? Let's go. In the 10th position, we have Haas. In all honesty, I don't think anyone is expecting Haas to be competitive this year, and it would truly be shocking if they were. Having finished dead last in the standings last year, they haven't made any significant changes, and in fact have switched team principals and made it known that they do not want to be investing even more cash into the team. Their driver lineup is decent, but even with solid qualifying performances, the car seems to always disappoint come race day. Not much more to be said about this one. I have Haas finishing 10th, struggling to get anywhere near the points. In 9th place, I have Stake F1 Team Kick Sauber. Try saying that quickly 5 times. Besides their new and improved name and their pretty cool looking green livery, there isn't too much that has changed within the team. Their driver lineup has remained the same, and although I do think Bottas and Zhou Guanyu have something to prove, there only is so much you can do with a car that isn't too competitive. I have Sauber finishing 9th, while maybe scoring a couple points here and there. In 8th place, I have Williams. Williams had a great 2023 season. They finished in 7th place, and Albon was consistently performing well. But unfortunately, a lot of those performances didn't convey into actual points for the team. And with Logan Sargent not a lock-in to be taking the next step after his subpar rookie season, Williams have a lot of work to do. They have a quick car on straights, but other teams are also constantly improving. They need to fix many aspects of their car to find more performance, and I just don't see them making a massive leap this year to help them pass other teams. They may have a couple solid races at some tracks that suit their car, but not much more than that. In 7th position, I have Visa Cash App RB, another team with a phenomenal name. VCarb, formerly known as AlphaTauri, had their fair amount of problems last year. After switching between 4 drivers last year, they seem to have found their team pairing in Yuki Tsunoda and Daniel Ricciardo. Both drivers are eyeing that Red Bull seat if it does become available at any point this season or next, and the only way they would even be considered is if they produce results now at VCarb. The fact that they are also Red Bull's sister team and are more at liberty to take inspiration from the main Red Bull team can definitely have a positive impact on the team's development and performance. Having a strong second half last season, I can see them continuing that form and improving from their overall position last year. Most likely 7th, but it also wouldn't be shocking if they somehow sneak up to 6th. In 6th position, I have Alpine. Alpine was the definition of a mid-level team last year, finishing the season with 2 podium results and 9 DNFs. On paper, they have a pretty solid young driver pairing in Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly. But somehow, they just weren't able to make everything click. They have come out and said that they don't expect to be extremely competitive at the beginning of the season, which isn't a promising thing to hear before the season begins. I do expect them to be consistently fighting for point scoring positions, but I don't see them being much more competitive than any of the remaining 5 teams I have ahead of them on this list, unless they make some massive improvements and make them quickly. In 5th position, I have Aston Martin. Aston Martin probably even shocked themselves with the crazy start they had last season. They came out guns blazing with arguably the second fastest car for the first quarter of the season. Add to this the fact that they have Fernando Alonso, who is able to convert these opportunities. They will definitely be looking to repeat their start again this season. However, Aston Martin didn't make any big upgrades last season and quickly fell off in performance compared to the other teams. If they somehow manage to start off strong and maintain that level throughout the entire season, they have a good chance at finishing 5th overall. Otherwise, they may quickly drop down in the rankings. In 4th place, I have Mercedes. This is probably one of my bolder predictions, but I have Mercedes dropping 2 spots in the championship compared to last year. For the past couple years, Mercedes have only been able to rely on the fact that they are consistently consistent. This was a great strategy over the past couple seasons because the other heavy-hitting teams also had their shares of problems and weren't as consistent as Mercedes was. Now, things are different. Both McLaren and Ferrari have cleaned up their act, and it looks like consistency alone won't be enough for Mercedes. They do have a very strong driver pairing, but if that W15 isn't fast, they'll be like sitting ducks waiting to be picked off. In 3rd place, I have McLaren. McLaren seems to have gotten their act together halfway through last season. The team was clicking and firing on all cylinders, offering the strongest competition to Red Bull for many of the remaining races. This year, they have a whole season to show what they are capable of if the car is performant. Both of their drivers gained loads of experience last year, especially Oscar Piastri, who had one of the greatest rookie seasons in the past 20 years. With solid strategies, solid pit stops, fast drivers, and a fast car for an entire season, McLaren have a great shot at the third place constructors, maybe even challenging for the second position. In second place, I have Ferrari. Ferrari always finds a way to shoot themselves in the foot, but somehow, for once, everything is pointing towards them actually having their act together. Fred Vasseur has brought the team back on track, and their future come 2025 is looking very bright. But this year, they have made changes to their car. Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz both say that the feeling is much better than last year. With little improvement on strategies, they are very well positioned to finish just behind the top team, hopefully being competitive and fighting for race wins as well. In first place, I have Red Bull. Red Bull were flawless last season. The car, Max Verstappen, the strategy, the pit stops, it feels like everything was just going their way. It may go down in history as the most dominant F1 season ever. The chances of having another season as perfect as last season are very slim, but it would be criminal not to assume that Red Bull are the favorites to finish the Constructors Championship in first spot. Unless something completely unexpected happens, Red Bull should be cruising to yet another championship victory. Making predictions for the season is part of the preseason fun that comes with F1, along with testing and the anticipation for those lights to go out in Bahrain. One thing is for sure, if any of your bold predictions do pan out to be right, make sure you have them written down somewhere so you can brag to your friends after the season's done. Thank you guys for watching. As always, if you have anything you want to add, make sure to leave a comment down below. And if you did enjoy this video and want to see more content like this, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date for the next video. Thanks again, and see you guys next time. Bye.